Hi guys, John here, CommonSenseOutdoors. What I want to talk about and show you today is something that you've probably already seen on my channel in the video where I put together a survival neck knife for my brother. I made him a special lanyard to go with it. This is one of those lanyards. I've had several people ask for them. I've actually already made a handful of them for people. I'm going to start putting them up for sale on eBay. The info on that will be in the description box if you want to go find one. And it's not hard to make at all for somebody that has the stuff, but if you don't have the items that I put into it to go out and buy those items and put it together yourself, probably just easier and cheaper to get it from me. So either way, if you want to make it yourself or you want to find mine, that's great. Before I get started talking about this, I just want to say it's really easy to put a breakaway point in a neck lanyard for those that are concerned with getting hung up on it or whatnot. They have breakaway buckles you can get, or you can simply tie off one end here and your attachment point to whatever you're hanging on the lanyard. Use 30 or 40 pound piece of cordage or fishing line or whatever, so that you have a lightweight cordage break point. Okay, with that being said, I mean, this lanyard could be used for whatever you wanted to do. I mean, you could make a neck lanyard for your knife. You could hang your fire steel on it. You could hang your compass on it. I mean, whatever you want to hang around your neck. Your favorite elk call, goose call. If you wear something around your neck and it already has a lanyard, maybe you want to upgrade to a lanyard that actually has some stuff in it that might help you if you get into a pinch. So real quick, I'm going to turn you down and show you the contents before it's assembled, and then we'll talk about those contents in detail. Okay, so what you'll end up getting at once it's put together, and these links right here are a little longer because they have to be until, so that I can put it together. But once it's put together, what you end up with is 36 inches of jute twine, which is an excellent fire tinder. You'll end up with 3 30-inch pieces of 50-pound wire for snare loops. You'll end up with 4 pieces of 120-pound tarred bank line. 2 pieces will be 36 inches, 2 pieces will be 30 inches. You'll end up with a 32-inch, about a 32-inch piece of OD green paracord outer. The inner strands will be not inside this piece. I'll talk about that in a minute. And then you'll end up with a 36-inch piece of coyote tan paracord and a 42-inch piece of black paracord. Okay, with that being said, we're going to talk about each of those things in detail. And most of you probably know 550 cord, 550 paracord has a 550-pound break strength as a whole. If you take it apart, it has 7 inner strands. 7 white inner strands. Those inner strands are a 50-pound each break strength. The outer casing by itself is a 200-pound break strength. Like I said, the tan and the black will be full 550 cord with the inner strands. The OD green will be an empty green casing, and the wire and 2 of these pieces of bank line will be replaced inside that green casing. Then the other 2 pieces of bank line and the jute twine are just worked into the weave. The jute twine goes alongside the tan, and the 2 strands of bank line go alongside the black, so you can hardly even tell they're there. I could try to show you up close, but my camera probably won't pick it up. You can kind of see the jute twine next to the tan. Doesn't focus real well up close. Now, as far as the bank line goes, why bank line if you have paracord for cordage? First of all, tarred bank line will do a lashing like an arrowhead or a spear point much better than 550 cord or the inner strands. Because of the fact that it's tarred, it grips onto itself and you'll get a much better, tighter lashing on things like that. The second reason is this is perfect bird snare material. Much better than the inner strands of the paracord as a bird snare. Stiffer, holds a loop better, it cinches down better. It's just a perfect bird snare material. And also, this is a three-strand material also, so you could break this down and have 3 strands out of one if you needed more cordage or a lighter cordage. The 50-pound wire is a 12-strand woven 50-pound break strength wire. I've got this in other videos. I've shown how to make snare loops out of this for small game. I've shown how to make a 15-inch snare loop. So 15 inches of this, you can make a snare loop to go along with if you need some other cordage to attach it to a tree or whatever. But for rabbits and squirrels and things like that, you can make a 15-inch snare loop out of wire. The big advantage of a wire snare loop is if you catch a rabbit or squirrel, these animals have teeth. So if you were to just use bank line or paracord as your snare loop, you risk the chance of that animal chewing itself free. With a wire snare loop, that's not going to happen. If you check out my video on how to make a snare with this wire, it also will cinch down and stay cinched down better than any cordage will, and dispatch that animal better. Plus, your snare loop with this will stay perfectly round. It will hang better if you're doing a trail set. It's a lot harder to make a trail set snare out of cordage like paracord, because you have to use little sticks and prop up your loop and hope you get it right. So back to the fact that 15 inches will make a snare loop for rabbit, squirrel, small game. These are 30 inches, so if you fold it in half, find the half point, pinch it real good and hard, and just start tweaking it back and forth enough times, it'll eventually break in half. You'll have enough wire for 6 snare loops with these 3 30-inch pieces. Jute twine, fire aid, enough said. I actually have a video showing that you can even make fire with this after it's been completely submerged in water. Back to the lanyard itself real quick. The overall length of the braided section is between 27 and 28 inches. The black strand I've left hanging out about 5 inches, probably a little longer than 5 inches, but 5 inches we'll say. And that's so that you can have room to attach whatever you want to hang on this. Like I said, whatever you want to wear around your neck, just having these extra items, if you get in a pinch, could be very helpful. Overall cordage on this, without breaking down the bank line any further, without breaking down the inner strands of the paracord any further, but taking apart the paracord and getting those 7 strands out, overall cordage, you're going to get a little over 65 feet of cordage just out of this neck lanyard, and that's not counting the jute twine or the wire as cordage. So 65 feet of cordage around, I mean, you don't even know it's there. If you add a $15 Mora, you throw that on there, make yourself a couple of Ranger bands, maybe put a 6-inch wood sawzall blade on the back side, take your fire steel, shove it into your Ranger bands, however you want to attach it. You put that onto this neck lanyard, you're well on your way to a pretty darn good survival kit right there. Now this Mora is actually off of another kit I'm working on, and it has a loop of paracord hanging out the bottom. But while we're talking about that, take your companion sheath, put your paracord through that drain hole in the bottom, pull it all the way out, tie off a tight knot, melt it down, pull it back down to the bottom. Now you have a piece of paracord hanging out of the bottom. Put yourself a loop on it. You have a way, if you were to put it on a neck lanyard, you have a way to attach something to that loop, run it to your belt or your belt loop, and now your neck knife's not a dangler. It's tight against your chest. It can't get hung up on branches. It's going to hold right where you want it to. Huge safety factor in my opinion. Okay guys, I think I covered everything. I think, like I said, I'll put the info in the description box on how to find these. I'll have them on eBay. If you don't want to make it yourself, you don't have the materials, come find my listings. I think that pretty much covers it. Alright, leave me a comment, let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.